What's up, Reds? Huge updates coming out of Anfield today. From Luis Diaz's transfer ultimatum to Darwin Nunez's price tag, and a possible new Trent Alexander-Arnold in the squad. Let's break it all down. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Liverpool transfer news as Parma wonderkid admired and $68 million Castello Luquiba stance emerges. Liverpool transfer news roundup as two centre-backs are linked with moves to join Arne Slot's side, with RB Leipzig defender Castello Luquiba's stance emerging. It is going to take a long time for Liverpool to come to terms with the loss of Diogo Hoda. That process is only just at the beginning, and it is far from completion. This weekend, though, the Reds will return to action for the first time since the passing of Hoda and his brother, Andre Silva, on what promises to be an emotional occasion. That will mark the first step back towards some sort of normality, though it is likely to be very difficult for those involved, particularly those who knew Hoda best. For now, Liverpool.com has rounded up the latest transfer gossip to emerge around the Reds today. Both players being linked are centre-backs, which is a position that sporting director Richard Hughes could do with strengthening. Giovanni Leone, Parma. Liverpool is one of a number of Premier League clubs keeping tabs on Parma talent Giovanni Leone. He only joined the Serie A side from Sampdoria a year ago but could soon be on the move again. According to TalkSport, Liverpool, Newcastle United, Spurs and 7 more English clubs are interested in Leone. The 18-year-old centre-back, though, might be likelier to stay in Italy for the time being. Leone is said to be a dominant defender who is excellent on the ball. Liverpool is seeking a young star to add to its ranks, having missed out on Lenny Yoro a year ago and then Dean Huijsen earlier in this window. The Reds sold Jarell Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen and have a buyback clause inserted into that deal. Ibrahima Konate's contract only has 1 more year left to run on it, though, and Marc Guéhi, the Crystal Palace captain, has been linked. Liverpool.com says, Leone appears to be one to watch for the future. Like Huijsen joining Bournemouth before Real Madrid, though, it might make more sense for the player to move somewhere where he is more guaranteed game time to continue his development. Castello Luquiba, RB Leipzig. Sticking with central defenders, RB Leipzig star Castello Luquiba, who could be on the move this summer, is said to be of interest to Liverpool. According to Caught Offside, the 22-year-old would favor a move to Anfield. Luquiba has a release clause worth around $105 million, £78 million, written into his contract in Germany. He might be available for around $68 million, £50 million, though, the report claims, which would seem more realistic. Under contract until 2029, Luquiba is expected to move on from the Red Bull Arena sooner rather than later. If he were to join Liverpool, he would. Liverpool transfer news, Luis Diaz to issue ultimatum as Darwin Nunez price tag named. Liverpool stars Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez have both been linked with moves away during the summer transfer window, but it appears that the Reds have differing stances on the pair. Liverpool have returned for pre-season training as they bid to defend the Premier League title. The Reds were back at the AXA training centre in Kirkby on Tuesday with 3 new signings on board. Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong have been signed for a combined £185 million, with Liverpool looking to strike while the iron is hot after being crowned champions of England. More deals are in the pipeline, but departures could be just as significant before the summer transfer window closes on Monday, September 1st. Anfield was rocked last week by the passing of Diogo Hoda. The Reds forward was killed aged 28 in a car crash alongside his brother. His funeral took place over the weekend with members of Liverpool's squad and manager Arne Slot in attendance. Saturday's pre-season friendly away to Preston North End had been in doubt, but the match will go ahead. Diaz to issue ultimatum. Luis Diaz is reportedly set to give Liverpool an ultimatum over his future. Colombian Diaz has been heavily linked with a move to Barcelona, while Bayern Munich recently had an approach rebuffed by Liverpool. The Reds don't want to sell the 28-year-old winger, whose current deal expires in 2027. A report from Colombia explains that Diaz will tell Liverpool to either hand him a new contract or sell him to either Barca or Bayern. Should Liverpool give Luis Diaz a new contract or sell him to Barcelona? Have your say in the comments section. Nunez price tag named. Liverpool would be willing to take a £15 million loss on striker Darwin Nunez, it's been claimed. Nunez, 26, joined the Reds from Benfica in 2022 for £85 million but has failed to live up to his price tag. That's not stopped Napoli from being interested though, with club president Aurelio De Laurentiis said to be personally overseeing negotiations for the Uruguayan. Italian outlet Corriere dello Sport report that Liverpool have slapped a £70 million asking price on Nunez, which Napoli aren't prepared to pay as things stand. Branthwaite's release clause emerges. Rumored Liverpool target Jared Branthwaite will be available for more than £70 million next summer via a release clause. Despite being an Everton player, Branthwaite has been linked with a sensational move to Anfield over the past couple of years. The 23-year-old centre-back recently signed a new contract with the Toffees which runs until the summer of 2030. But according to the Mail, an exit clause was inserted into his deal as Branthwaite wants to play Champions League football in the near future. Liverpool have got a new Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold signed a 4-year contract extension with Liverpool back in 2021, taking him to summer 2025. The homegrown right-back was very strategic in his decision-making, ensuring that he would be able to discuss terms with overseas teams about a free transfer at a peak age. And of course, that is exactly what transpired. Shortly after the Premier League title win was confirmed, the England man announced he would be leaving at the end of his contract. Real Madrid ended up paying a fee of around £8.4 million to secure Trent in time for the FIFA Club World Cup, but it still felt like a slap in the face for Liverpool supporters. Liverpool lose TAA. Here was the vice-captain, a fan and an academy graduate deciding to quit the club just as they were looking at their strongest in years. And worse still, he was leaving for a fraction of his true worth. The most expensive right-backs of all time include Joao Cancelo and Achraf Hakimi, both moving for between £60 million and £70 million. There is little doubt that Trent, with his pedigree, his goal involvement record, and his age, would have sold for more in an ideal market. But Liverpool had to grin and bear it, splashing £29.5 million on a replacement in Jeremy Frimpong, who will battle it out with Connor Bradley for starting duties. Konate likes Real Madrid. If the club were hoping that this situation wouldn't become a trend, then they look like they are going to be disappointed. Reports are growing ever more certain that Ibrahima Konate is acting the same way as Trent. His contract was signed in 2021 when he transferred from RB Leipzig for around £35 million. Reds fans have been waiting a long time to see the best of the 26-year-old Frenchman on a consistent basis, and last season it was the first time he really became Virgil van Dijk's undisputed partner. With his contract running out in 2026, it now looks like Konate will follow Trent's lead. Although we have read reports that Konate was in talks with the club over a renewal, there has been no significant progress. The player was said to be seeking around £200,000 per week for a new contract, but with Madrid again sniffing around, there are no guarantees he will sign it. Konate available for free in 2026. Like Trent, he will be aware that if his next club have to pay no transfer fee, then he will have a better chance of pocketing a bigger signing-on fee. Liverpool are effectively powerless from preventing this situation from unfolding. If Konate runs down his deal, then there is little they can do to prevent it other than offload him this summer. But that of course has the knock-on effect of destabilizing the Reds' title-winning back line even further when 2 fullback changes have already taken place, with Frimpong and Milos Kerkez arriving at the club. What should Liverpool do with Konate? Liverpool decided against negotiating a transfer for Trent back in January when Real Madrid came calling. The club clearly felt it. Liverpool will provide answer to 5 summer questions as Arne Slot preseason gets underway. Liverpool has started preseason training, with its game against Preston North End set to go ahead this weekend in what will be the opening friendly of the summer. Liverpool has begun to prepare for the new Premier League season, and Arne Slot will be afforded more time on the training field this summer compared to usual. But in the context of what has unfolded with the tragic passing of Diogo Hoda and his brother, Andre Silva, that pales in comparison. Nothing is as important for the club as grieving for their loss and supporting their families. Liverpool's players, though, have decided that they feel able to play against Preston North End in their first friendly of the summer this weekend. And for many fans, it will be a brief welcome. That game at Deepdale will be an early marker on the way back to something closer to normality after such a devastating tragedy, though the process is going to be a lengthy and emotional one. Talking about soccer again, be it tactics, transfers, or anything else, still feels trivial, and that is going to remain the case for some time. For some, though, it will help. With that in mind, Liverpool.com has taken a look at some of the questions that will be answered during the upcoming preseason. Tactically, it will be an interesting few weeks. Defensively, having sold Jarell Quansah, Liverpool looks light in numbers. Additionally, Joe Gomez does not have a perfect injury record, and Ibrahima Konate is now inside the final 12 months of his deal. Bringing in another defender should be high up on the to-do list when it comes to the remainder of the transfer window. Mark Guéhi and Castello Lakiba are just two of the names who have been linked. In midfield, the configuration of players is still to be determined. Florian Wirtz, the exciting addition from Bayer Leverkusen, for instance, could be used as a number 10 or a false 9, and supporters will get a first glimpse of him soon enough. Dominic Szoboszlai could play a slightly different role, while Alexis Mac Allister and Ryan Gravenberch could both benefit from getting more rests here and there. Wirtz's arrival could facilitate both things. Like the German playmaker, Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong will be integrated into the Liverpool team. Slot will have a good idea of how he wants to use each of them, having spent around $95 million, £70 million on the pair, but that plan should soon be made public. And in attack, there remains interest in Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz, for that matter, while the Reds could look to bring in more new faces. There are still decisions to be made in that department when the time is right. It is going to be some time yet before things feel normal again for Liverpool as a result of Hoda's sudden passing. And clearly that, above all else, is this summer's priority. Thinking about soccer again might provide a brief distraction that can